security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Hello there, a very good evening. It's another Wednesday, and for the Muslim Ummah, it's once again Ramadan Kareem. And to you, the rest of the News Extra family, I hope it's so far so good this week. There's this saying in Tivlan that goes, when it is the season of maize, you discuss about maize. Typical of the food basket to focus even their sayings on food. Now, rising from that saying, we have lots of stories tonight on Nigeria's democratic experience, especially the first 3 years of this present APC government of President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm sure you know the World Cup is here upon us, and our own Super Eagles are involved. They received a presidential send-off today, and we shall tell you how. The Senate and House of Representatives sat today, and it was vibrant. Watch out. All these, plus the usual sports, business news, a bit on the foreign scene, and we'll be done. That's about the size of the package. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the news with the extra touch. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. It's News Extra. You're welcome. An FCT High Court has sentenced the former governor of Taraba State, Jolly Nyami, to 14 years imprisonment for criminal breach of trust, gratification, criminal misappropriation of public funds, and obtaining valuable materials without consideration. Chukunonso Nwabweze reports that Nyami has been standing trial on a 41-count charge instituted against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, since May 13, 2007.
Out of the 41-count charge, which amounted to a total of 1.64 billion naira, which was misappropriated by the ex-governor, the convict was guilty of 27. Delivering the judgment, the trial judge, Justice Adebukola Banjoko, established that between 2004 and 2005, the Taraba State Ministry of Finance was an enclave of criminals who, with the help of the former governor, defrauded the people of the state of huge sum of money. The judgment tendered, although it was a case of first offender, handing a maximum sentence on the convict will serve as a deterrent to other public office holders who might be planning on enriching themselves through the public treasury. On the criminal breach of trust, Justice Banjoko sentenced Nyame to 14 years imprisonment, gratification 7 years, obtaining valuable materials without consideration 5 years, all to run concurrently without an option of fine.
All this shows that the mill of justice grinds slowly but surely. And it shows that whoever has committed an offense should also be ready to face the consequences.
The court also ordered EFCC to refund the recovered loot to the Taraba State government.
With the Defense Counsel unwilling to speak on whether they will go on an appeal, the judgment puts to an end more than 10 years of legal battle between the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the former governor of Taraba State, Jolly Nyame. From the FCT High Court, go to Abuja, Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, has directed all courts in the country to first explore alternative dispute resolution in all contract matters where arbitration clauses are inserted before going for litigation. The CJN gave the directive at the opening of a seminar for judges on construction law. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewu was there and now reports.
Although this may not be known to many people, court statistics have shown that litigations that come from construction laws are massive in Nigeria. These litigations come in form of contract violations, compensations, and project disputes. Another complication in this field of law is the intermingling of different disciplines and professions to bring a construction project into existence. All this, the Chief Justice of Nigeria says, brings about the need for justices and judges to understand the complexity in the industry, particularly now that foreign aid is also being sought in the execution of projects in Nigeria. He also spoke about how the good flow of cases in court can encourage foreign investment in Nigeria.
The justice system, which is riddled with delays in the adjudication of cases, will be unattractive to investors. It is also instructive to note that where alternative dispute resolution mechanisms are effectively deployed, same will drastically reduce the volume of cases before our courts. Such a system will encourage investment, as investors will be confident that their assets and investments are secured.
The National Judicial Institute, organizers of the seminar, say it is to address gray areas which judges encounter regarding disputes in this area of law.
It is instructive to mention that Nigeria is undergoing incredible growth, and as a result of this, the sector faces numerous challenges ranging from archaic regulations, demand and supply, disputes in relation to claims for payment, damages due to defects in completed works, and variation in contract sums due to inflation.
The theme of the seminar is laying the foundation for effective dispute resolution in the Nigerian construction sector. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
And away from the judiciary, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, says the Buhari administration has good reasons to be grateful for the rate of success recorded in the 3 years of its existence. He was speaking at a dinner and gala night held in Abuja as part of the 19th Democracy Day celebration. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has more on that.
It is time to wine and dine after assessing the services offered by the administration and the success recorded thereof in the last 3 years. A special documentary on dividends of democracy from 2015 to 2018 was featured here to authenticate the claims by the administration.
I was reminding someone just about 2 months ago that we're not even 3 years old yet. And we're being compared, some of our friends who are here, who had been in government for 16 years, compare themselves to us even when we were 2 years. It shows that we must be doing very well, indeed.
It was also a time to say thank you to those who are part of the success story, and one of such is Team Nigeria that featured at the Commonwealth Games in Australia.
Wish you a very prosperous new session as we go into the 4th lap of the life of this administration.
1, 2, 3. Ladies.
General Oladipo Dia and Commodore Ebutu Ukiwe, both retired, were among dignitaries present at the gala night. From the banquet hall of the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And youths in Nigeria, especially those with political ambition, wouldn't have asked for a better Democracy Day gift than President Buhari's pronouncement that the Not Too Young to Run bill will be signed soon. Olainka Ojo, who felt the pulse of a cross-section of youths, reports that the excitement was electric.
The 1999 Constitution as amended prescribes the minimum age requirement for Nigerians seeking elective office. But recent campaign to reduce the age gave birth to the Not Too Young to Run bill. Already, the bill has been passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the two-thirds of state houses of assembly. It is only awaiting the assent of the president, who in a national broadcast to the nation to mark Democracy Day says he will sign the bill.
In few days to come, I will be joined by many promising young Nigerians to sign into law the Not Too Young to Run bill.
That has enthused Nigerian youths.
It's a great privilege for Nigerian youth to partake and to play a vital role in government, not just to support politicians.
It's a commendable and laudable one, but we need him to fast track his intention and make it come to reality.
It brings peer inclusiveness.
That will encourage youths the more to come out.
No, now is the time to enter into the political fray. And with this assurance, Mr. President has already won the hearts of Nigerian youths.
The signing of the bill into law is expected to bring more younger people into governance. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
In the meantime, guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria have called on Nigerians to have a change of attitude towards consolidating on democracy. Speaking on matters arising from the Democracy Day lecture presented by former INEC chairman Professor Attahiru Jega, Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, stressed the need for providing the appropriate framework that can be used in addressing challenges facing democracy in the country. Garba Muhammad Nata'ala has more on that.
As Nigeria attains 19 years of uninterrupted democracy, the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, pointed out that good governance to move the country to greater heights can be achieved with time and patience.
There are things that are caught to democracy, whether individual conduct or the conduct of governments. You mentioned the good governance itself. So we've got to change things. And I think that individuals must change, governments must change, otherwise we can't get it right.
Stating that the concept of internal democracy should be political parties' watchword, Mike Osaha, a legal practitioner, assured that it will enable politicians produce better policies that will entail good governance.
We are also complicit in this total collapse of the local government system. We need to really go beyond this fetish of the federal government to what happens at the states. You know, the states ought to be doing a lot in terms of delivering good governance in this country.
Citing an example of the democratic settings of some developed countries like US and the UK, they agreed it took decades for them to consolidate on democracy and move the country forward. And in the same vein, they said Nigeria will get it right. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Nata'ala, NTA News.
Well, it's now 3 years since the emergence of the Buhari administration, and the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is of the view that the governing All Progressives Congress has lived up to the campaign promises over the years. Joined by other guests on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live, he assured Nigerians of better days ahead. Joseph Johnson has more on that.
Highlighting the numerous achievements of the Buhari administration, which coincided with the 19 years of unbroken democratic journey of the nation, the minister says unprecedented achievements have been recorded by the administration, especially in the areas of provision of infrastructural facilities, agriculture, and the administration's social investments program.
This is only an administration that has faithfully implemented the TSA. And with the implementation of TSA, we'll be able to block leakages. As of today, we've been able to collect over 8.10 trillion naira to the TSA. You see, if you do not block the leakages, you cannot fight corruption effectively.
Looking at the data, and they don't lie, Nigerians should be able to know that they are better off, particularly when you remove the spin, when you remove the fake news, when you remove the cynicism to what stars us as the facts.
Public officials know that once they indulge in corruption and they are caught, that they are going to pay the supreme price. So this in itself, in my view, is a very fundamental success that this government in Abuja, is achieving.
On security, the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, says Boko Haram insurgents have been successfully degraded.
We are heaving a sigh of relief in the northeast. Yes, we are having pockets of challenges here and there, but so it will take time, certainly, to wipe them off. But they have been sufficiently degraded to such a level that they no longer pose a potent threat to the corporate existence of this nation.
The discussants were unanimous in their resolve for a more united Nigeria and enjoined Nigerians to embrace dialogue as the preferable form of conflict resolution. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Nigeria is reassuring the Republic of Sierra Leone of continued support, including that of military, as the country works towards stability and economic enhancement. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this when he received the new president of the West African nation, Julius Maada Bio, who called on him. State House correspondent Adam Musambo completes the report.
Visited Nigeria for the first time since coming to power in the first week of last month, President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone was warmly received by President Muhammadu Buhari on arrival at the forecourt of the State House. Both leaders share a lot in common, including ruling their countries as military generals, contesting elections several times as opposition candidates, and getting elected finally to face the challenges of security and ailing economy. Bilateral discussions between President Muhammadu Buhari and his Sierra Leonean counterpart, Maada Bio, therefore centered on ways and means of deepening relations in critical economic sectors, especially in the areas of health, security, and trade. At the meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari congratulated Mr. Maada Bio on the successful elections as well as the smooth transition that ushered in a new government in his country. Expressing the belief that security in the West Coast region, Africa, and the world should be a collective concern, President Buhari assured the Sierra Leonean leader that Nigeria will continually support his country's efforts at ensuring stability for socio-economic development. For a long period, Nigeria had provided security support to Sierra Leone, especially during the 11 years of civil war. And for this, President Maada Bio said at a news briefing shortly after that his country is eternally grateful.
I came today to express our country's gratitude to the Federal Republic of Nigeria for standing by us, fighting with us during our time of need when we had the civil war. This is my first time in Nigeria after having been elected. I also wanted to pay this courtesy call to renew our bond of friendship and to see how we can deepen this relationship, which is mutually beneficial.
Issues relating to the recent outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus in the DR Congo were also analyzed by the two countries' delegations at the meeting.
Definitely, we are concerned about what is happening in the DRC, and we are taking preventive measures, and that was discussed in our interaction.
In the meantime, just like Nigeria, President Julius Maada Bio said his administration is also committed to diversifying the economy of Sierra Leone away from mining in order to guarantee a sustainable future. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari is asking the Super Eagles of Nigeria to bear in mind the Nigerian passion for football and make the nation proud at the World Cup. This was at a farewell reception organized for members of the team and coaching crew as they depart for Russia. State House here again is Adam Musambo with the details.
It was a remarkable demonstration of honor as well as a desired moral booster for the Super Eagles of Nigeria as the presidency puts off the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council to give the team a befitting farewell reception. President Muhammadu Buhari, who expressed the belief that nothing unites Nigerians more than football, charged the team to acquit themselves honorably and make the nation proud.
Play fair and clean, but demonstrate the gallant spirit which Nigerians are known for. By winning in Russia, you must remember that you are carrying the passions, emotions, and feelings of over 180 million people.
The president commended the Nigeria Football Federation for drawing up the right programs that is helping to refine the team into the powerhouse it is meant to be.
You have the full support and the blessings of all Nigerians who, as long as the tournament lasts. This is our time. We look up to you to make us proud. All Nigerians join me in saying to you, best of luck.
Both the Minister of Sports, Solomon Dalung, who introduced the team, and the President, Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, were full of appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for creating the enabling environment for the development of sports in Nigeria, especially football. They assured him that everything is in place for the Super Eagles to excel in Russia 2018.
Your Excellency, I can assure you that this team you are seeing today is a team that will make Nigeria very proud, because you have created that environment for us to thrive.
However, this can only be possible if you put Nigeria first and seek for collective glory and not individual glory.
Coach Gennaro and team captain John Obi Mikel also spoke in the same vein, promising a good outing at the Mondial.
The first step is the most difficult, to come out of the group, but I think the players are able to do it.
We would like to say a massive, massive thank you for what you've been doing for Nigerian football. This is the first time that we're going into a tournament like this without any issue of money or anything like that. So all we have to do as players is to go out there and make this country proud and come back with the trophy.
Russia 2018 will be the 6th time the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be participating in the Global Soccer Fiesta since their debut at USA 94. Qualification to the round of 16 is so far their best outing. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And with 14 days to kick off, the goal line technology debuts at the 2018 FIFA World Cup after a series of tests in FIFA-graded tournament. Ayodeji Makinde traces the advent of this initiative and goals recorded by teams at the World Cup finals.
We continue our countdown to the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia today by taking another look at the uniqueness of goals at the Mundial, the excitement it gives to fans, the reputation it adds to the country's profile, and the honor it brings to teams and the players who register it. However, when not awarded, it could be painful and sometimes cause an entire nation a huge pain.
Defoe looking for room. Lampard! Did it go in? No, say the officials. Over the line or not? Yes.
That unawarded goal scored by England midfielder Frank Lampard at the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa sparked a lot of controversy. For England fans, it was a broad daylight robbery. In some quarters, it was described as one issue which required a technological solution. The result, an innovation known as the goal line technology. After years of countries swallowing the bitter pills of accepting the decision, now infamously termed as human error, the International Football Association Board, IFAB, amended the laws of the game of football, approving the use of the goal line technology in 2012. This technical means of instantly determining whether the whole ball has crossed the goal line was met by criticisms, rejection, and apathy. Roll forward to 2018, the technology will be in use at the FIFA World Cup in Russia. With or without this innovation of 2012, great World Cup countries leave their marks with some of the most memorable goals of the Mundial. Four-time world champions Germany have recorded the most goals in most matches played. The Europeans still have some catch-up with five-time World Cup winners Brazil, the only team to have appeared in each tournament since the maiden edition in 1930. Africa's record at the Mundial sees Cameroon, who have played 23 matches, lead the chart. Football great Roger Milla scored 5 of his country's 18 goals at the Mundial. Nigeria has scored more FIFA World Cup goals than any other African country. The Super Eagles have played 18 matches at the World Cup with more wins than any other team on the continent. Africa's highest goal scorer at the World Cup is Asamoah Gyan with 6 goals, while the Black Stars have 13 goals in 12 World Cup matches. While the goal line technology is considered an exorbitant addition by most clubs and national football associations in Africa, the 5 representatives from the continent will need to score goals like this.
2 in the middle. Oh, they've got an equaliser! Musa!
Which obviously do not require a goal line decision. And that's our countdown today. I'm Ayodeji. Makinde, I'll see you soon.
And still talking sports, in the last 3 years, the federal government has recorded achievements in the sports sector. There are now more Nigerians in the Confederation of African Football than FIFA, with the country hoping to host the world in the 2022 Youth Olympics. Amazi Marcus, in this special report, recaps the achievements in Nigerian sports from 2015 to 2018.
The role of sports in the development of nations is so germane that nations of the world use sports to demonstrate their power and relevance. In Nigeria, beyond uniting the nation, sports provides employment for many, generates income, and brings happiness to millions within and outside the country. When the People's Democratic Party government, then led by former President Goodluck Jonathan, handed over to President Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress Party on May 29, 2015, sports remain a priority, with many achievements recorded in the last 3 years. Believing that the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain, President Muhammadu Buhari rewarded the 1985 set of the Golden Eaglets, who 30 years ago won the maiden edition of what is today known as the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. In 2015, Nigeria became the most successful country at the FIFA Under-17 level, as the Golden Eaglets won a record 5th title, beating Mali 2-0 in Chile, only for the Super Falcons to extend another record in December 2016 by winning an 8-women AFCON title in Cameroon after edging out the hosts in Yaoundé via a lone goal. President Muhammadu Buhari, who received the FIFA World Cup during his tour in March 2018 in Abuja, wants the Super Eagles to win it during the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia.
The federal government will ensure that necessary support is given to facilitate preparations for successful participation of the Super Eagles at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia.
Nigeria's The Tigresses won a 3rd FIBA Africa Women's title in Bamako, Mali. In Scrabble, Nigeria's Jigere Wellington won the World English Language Scrabble Championship in Australia, as Dream Team 6 placed Nigeria in the 78th position with a bronze medal at the Rio 2016 Olympics football event, compared to the London Games where Nigeria won nothing. Nigeria achieved the 2nd position at the 2015 All-Africa Games in Congo-Brazzaville. At the April 2018 Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia, Nigeria's 90 athletes won 24 medals. For the first time, elections were conducted to elect board members of the 42 sports federations.
For me to even sacrifice my power of appointing people on the board of federation is the highest sacrifice.
The Buhari administration has kept faith in rewarding athletes who have done the country proud as it bids to host the 2022 Youth Olympics in Abuja, which is only possible with a sports-friendly government. In Abuja, Amazi Marcus, NTA News.
We have not heard the end of the Obafemi Awolowo University sexual harassment saga. Join us for the details and other interesting stories when we return after the break.
From the 21st to the 23rd of June 2018, more than 300 of the world's influential media professionals, including editors, senior media executives, leading journalists, academics, and social commentators, will converge on Abuja, Nigeria, as the International Press Institute holds its World Congress in Nigeria for the very first time. Expected dignitaries include 4 African presidents and participants from 150 nations to deliberate on the theme,
Why Good Journalism Matters, Quality Media for Strong Societies.
President Muhammadu Buhari will deliver the opening address at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and IPI World Congress Organizing Committee Chairman, Nduka Obaigbena, welcome IPI Executive Board Chairman, John Yearwood, Executive Director, Barbara Triumphi, and all delegates to the IPI World Congress 2018. Tony O. Iredia, Chairman, Media and Publicity Committee, Announcer.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain. Fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
The 61st meeting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Commission for Africa is taking place in Nigeria at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja from the 4th to the 6th of June 2018. The UNTWO Commission for Africa is a meeting of the various African ministers of tourism from the 51 member states around Africa. The event will highlight the strategies for developing tourism in Africa. It will build on the networking and the exchange of ideas on tourism issues on the continent and set policies to develop and grow tourism in Nigeria and across Africa. The 61st meeting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Commission for Africa is taking place in Nigeria at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja from the 4th to the 6th of June 2018.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
You're welcome back. It's good to have you join us again on News Extra tonight. Now, latest developments in tertiary institutions, which presents glooming stories of harassment of students by lecturers, has now become worrisome to the Senate, reflective of the general mood of Nigerians on the matter. Recently, it's been a story of alleged sex for marks at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. To dissuade involvement in such acts, the Senate has resolved to investigate the matter. National Assembly correspondent Indesha Zonko has more on that.
The Senate condemns what it described as a growing trend of sexual harassment in higher institutions, with the recent case of Monica Osage against an Obafemi Awolowo University lecturer presented by Senator Lijimi Biodun from Ekiti South.
And the need to ensure that this perversion is completely kicked out of our places of learning.
We urge the House of Rep to move quickly to concur with the Senate bill on sexual harassment on tertiary educational institutions provision bill, which has been transmitted to the House. These will provide a succor and a window of solace for victims of these kind of atrocities across the country in our institutions of learning.
A matter of human rights also came to the fore as Senator Victor Ume from Anambra Central moves a motion on the need for authorities to check alleged illegal confinement of underage offenders in the same prison with adults.
To call on the federal government to establish more juvenile remand and correctional homes and creches attached to all female prisons across the nation.
Among the bills that were passed through second reading include the one for an act to provide for the licensing and regulation of private detectives and investigators, sponsored by Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, and the ones by Senator Barau Jibrin from Kano North for the amendment of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board and the Education National Minimum Standards and Establishment of Institutions Act.
This bill seeks to inject private sector initiative into detection and investigation of crime in Nigeria.
That candidates who meet admission requirements are admitted into our higher institutions of learning.
Meanwhile, a mild drama ensued at Wednesday's plenary following the request by Senator Dino Melaye that the Senate President relocate his seat from the allocated position. The request, which came after thanking National Assembly members for their support, attracted reactions from the ruling and opposition parties.
At any point in time that any senator on the left feels that he or her seat is uncomfortable, the person is welcome here.
Unfortunately, we don't have choices when we come into this chamber because we are elected. Those who elected us chose for us where to sit.
Senator Dino, I still know you onto that seat. I take note of your request.
The Senate has passed a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. It will be recalled that in July 2017, the Egmont Group had suspended Nigeria with a warning that it must establish the unit separate from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission from the National Assembly Ignatius in NTA News.
One of the top priorities of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration since assumption of office in 2015 was to restore adequate security to the country in a bid to fast-track economic growth and development in line with the change agenda. In this special report, Olajide Bello examines the successes recorded by the Nigerian Air Force in tackling insurgency and security challenges in the last 3 years.
Reminiscent of the glorious days of the Nigerian Air Force of the 80s when it began to compete favorably with any of its African counterparts when it comes to show off air power. During the period, the Nigerian Air Force under the democratic dispensation of President Shehu Shagari saw to it that aircrafts like the C-130 Hercules, Jaguar fighter jet, the Mikoyan Gilverish MiG-21, Alpha jets, the Puma helicopters and G-222 medium-range carriers adorned the skies, resulting in a robust air force that remarkably carried out air interdictions within and outside Nigeria's shores. Unfortunately, subsequent governments reportedly starved the force of funds depriving it of carrying out turnaround maintenance, periodic depot maintenance, DNC checks on aircraft, thus further grounding the fleet.
Much has changed in terms of capacity, so much has changed in terms of skills and training. And that is because of the enabling environment that the President and Commander-in-Chief has created is making it much easier for us to really function.
The Buhari administration came with a bumper package for the Nigerian Air Force through massive acquisition of platforms, enhanced training and operational capabilities, expansion of field commands, as well as improved research and development. The recent being with the President's visit to the United States of America.
Under the current administration, the Nigerian Air Force has taken delivery of 10 Super Mushak trainer aircraft, which are used for the primary flying training of our pilots. And they're already deployed, and indeed we've had the first set of pilots who were trained with these aircraft already graduated. And apart from these Super Mushak aircraft that were imported from Pakistan, the Nigerian Air Force has also taken delivery of a total of 4 Mi-35M helicopter gunships. These helicopter gunships are the most modern and sophisticated in the series of the Mi-35, and they are already adding a lot of impetus to our ongoing operations in different parts of the country.
The Nigerian Air Force has successfully inaugurated 2 Level 2 hospitals in Bama and Dalori IDP camps and has provided medical care for a total of 479,921 IDPs, aside its medical outreach in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country in the last 3 years. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Kayode Fayemi, has resigned his appointment and handed over to the Minister of State, Abubakar Buhari, as he proceeds to contest the July 14th governorship election in Ekiti State. Kayode Fayemi is the APC governorship candidate in the election.
So I really want to count on the continued support and participation of all of our staff as the ministry continues to advance the careful implementation of the roadmap for the growth and development of the Nigerian mining sector. It has indeed been a pleasure serving in this capacity, our country and Mr. President. My sincere thanks and appreciation goes to His Excellency Mr. President and His Excellency the Vice President for the visionary leadership and prioritization of the sector, as well as to my brother, my ministerial colleague, who is stepping into these shoes in acting capacity.
Correspondent May Ogidi reports that Kayode Fayemi was sworn in on the 11th of November 2015 by President Muhammadu Buhari. The scare of Ebola has put Nigeria on alert again as the nation is stepping up measures to forestall a possible importation of the disease through the nation's airports following a fresh outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Emmanuel Ayimiro reports that the screening exercise, which has since commenced at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, is expected to be carried out in all airports across the nation.
Since the major outbreak of Ebola in 2014, Nigeria is determined to prevent a repeat of Ebola or any other infectious disease at the nation's airports. This time around, a team of medical personnel and officials of Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria have swung into action using thermal scanner alert system, which can trigger alert at a far distance. The scanner machine helps to detect when the temperature of a passenger is very high, which signals the beginning of why the passenger will have to be pulled out to carry out a quick check on his health.
They want to find out, is this temperature actually really real, or it's an artifactual rise? You could have something hot on you, it will pick it. That trigger allows the port health services to do a secondary check to determine if you really have a fever or not. We're just trying to make sure that we don't have an outbreak within the country.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have been advised not to panic when at the airports, as the screening exercise for infectious diseases would be intensified at the nation's gateways. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Now turning to health. Strengthening the policy environment, improving the quality of care, enhancing national health security and emergency response readiness, while promoting efficiency through partnership in the health sector is the broad priority areas of the current administration. This is said to have led to a turnaround from the suboptimal health outcomes to tackling the drivers of underperformance and poor health indices associated with the country. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah takes it up from here.
Nigeria has had poor infrastructure, limited availability of evidence for planning, inequality in distribution of health resources, and poor access to services. Primary health care, which forms the bedrock of the national health system, had been especially weak and understretched. The commitment of the Muhammadu Buhari administration towards achieving universal health coverage and recognition of the role of primary health care at the bedrock of the health system is evident in the Better Health for All program of the Rapid Result Initiative. A major component of the program is the revitalization of primary healthcare system, where 10,000 primary healthcare centers are slated for revitalization, and the establishment of at least one functional primary health center in each ward to improve access to health, especially among the poor and the most vulnerable population.
At the last count, we're close to 3,000. And the whole world is following our footstep. Mr. President physically went to launch Kuchingoro January 10, 2017. The whole world has followed. The Director General of WHO came to Nigeria and re-emphasized that universal coverage can be achieved through primary care. That to me is a plus for us. So what Mr. President launched openly is now being endorsed globally.
Those ones that have been renovated now have the full complement of human resources, the utilities, the commodities, the drugs, to ensure that people can come to these health facilities and get quality health care.
I would like to thank the government for providing more facilities and more educated nurses and doctors so that we'll give birth to healthy children, instead of other women trying to stay back at home to give birth to their children that will result to death.
This is a gene expert machine. You can only see this machine before in the tertiary level or in the secondary level of healthcare. But now, after the revitalization, it has now come to the primary health care level. Within a radius, you have this type of machine, so that at least we'll capture those who have TB.
Key health reform projects and programs, such as the activation of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, the expansion of the Nigeria State Health Investment Project and SHIP, and the Saving 1 Million Lives program for results have served as incentives for the health sector. Expanding such programs sustainably is critical to improving health outcomes, human productivity, and economic growth. In Abuja, Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
Many thanks, Rabi. Now, Nigeria's oil and gas sector was synonymous with irregularities and corruption, leading to probes by the National Assembly, where tales of impunity, mismanagement, and uncertainty were heard. There seemed to be calm, sanity, and confidence in the sector in recent times, and that is what correspondent Lydia Sampson is reporting on, and what is responsible.
The partial deregulation of the downstream subsector, peace in the oil-rich Niger Delta, as well as the recent passage of a part of the petroleum industry bill, key players say are milestones and industry-changing strides the sector have never witnessed before. The unveiling of a 7-point agenda for the nation's oil and gas sector, which created a roadmap for the development of the oil and gas industry, is said to be responsible for the turnaround.
Oil has got to provide the resource to power this country. Oil has got to provide the operational environment that is transparent enough for others to take Nigeria serious.
All this, coupled with the Buhari government's peace initiative, the Niger Delta region has had a relative peace, leading to stable operations of oil farms. Driven by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the administration has succeeded in reducing militant activities and vandalism of pipelines, resulting in increased oil production. The payment schedule agreed by international oil companies with government also renewed interest in exploration and production and is boosting output. Other areas of the agenda turning around the industry include the creation of new oil and gas policy and regulation.
The sanitization of the sector by the government, because the government came and made a sector that was almost on a free-for-all.
Transparency and efficiency and the monthly publication of operations and financials of the NNPC is another masterstroke that has boosted investors' confidence. There's also uninterrupted gas supply to power plants and industries, as well as reviving depots that have been comatose for decades.
Our president, General Muhammadu Buhari, has brought change. Progressive change to Nigeria.
The presidency as well as the Senate have told us to do what it takes to make sure that skills disappear.
The administration also spearheaded the drive for output cut by OPEC and some non-OPEC countries, a development that helped to boost the government's earnings from oil and gas.
We are beginning to see a rebalanced market gradually but steadily.
Part of the Petroleum Industry Bill, the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, PIGB, was passed by the Senate. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Well, the culture where young people graduate and just wait for white-collar jobs is fast fading away. Now, thanks to the Empower Job Creation Scheme of the federal government, with 200,000 Nigerian youths out of the job market under the program, Nigeria is now making the right investments, especially in the youths. In this next report, Franca Uzomaolua shares the experience of beneficiaries across the nation.
For almost about 8 years, so until when this present administration comes to our aid.
Sanisu Abubakar Kanji is a beneficiary of the Empower program in Kano State. He and other colleagues are now gainfully employed under the NTEACH of the Empower program.
Okay, with the money we are earning, of course, we are saving. And somebody like me, I'm a caterer. I read home economics, which, you know, in home economics, we have a lot of branches, which maybe, for example, me, I prefer the aspects of the catering.
The Empower is the job creation initiative of the federal government under the Social Investment Program. The idea is to help young Nigerian graduates and non-graduates to acquire and develop lifelong skills to enable them become solution providers in their communities.
Many of them now have set up their small businesses with this money, and they know if they're doing farming, what is it that they are, what they like. Is it transportation? Is it harvesting? Is it planting? Is it packaging? Is it preservation? Where along the value chain they are very good at, and they set up their businesses, and everywhere we go, we hear very fulfilling stories.
Fulfilling stories indeed. Even in Gombe State, where more than 2,800 beneficiaries are making impact on NTEACH and NAGRO.
Yes, 4 + 4 is equals to 8. We need Mr. President to continue because it touches the lives of Nigerians.
In Enugu State, 6,165 young Nigerians were included in the 2016 Empower program.
When I came into the department, I was able to know the marking out tools, the cutting tools, and the laying out tools.
The story is the same in Ogun State, as 160 youths are trained, especially under N-Build. With the Empower program, the federal government is determined to meet the skills requirements of the industries while reviving Nigeria's apprenticeship culture.
We've been able to take off 200,000 young unemployed graduates between the ages of 18 to 35 out of the streets.
With the Empower program, a new age is dawning in Nigeria as another batch of 300,000 youths have been selected, verified, and soon to be deployed across the Federation.
As the Buhari administration focuses on investment in human capital development, it is indeed hope rising for Nigerian youths, including Sanisu Abubakar Kanji. Franca Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
A silent revolution is taking place in Nigeria's higher institutions of learning, with TED Fund leading through massive provisions of infrastructure and human resources development. Ado Adamo also, who took a trip around the country to some of these institutions, reports that prudence, accountability, and financial discipline are the driving factors.
This is now the sight and sound in almost all tertiary institutions of learning across Nigeria, courtesy of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, which is not only discharging its responsibilities, but also redefining the management of education tasks in the country. All these are as a result of the highest ever disbursement to the institutions in the 25 years of its existence. Over ₦1 billion to each of the 77 benefiting public universities and about ₦700 million to each of the 66 public colleges of education and 57 public polytechnics under the direct disbursement trend for 2016 alone. The academic staff training and development has also never had it so good. More than 8,000 staff benefited from local and international scholarship for master's and doctorate programs from 2016 to date. TEDFON New Drive also rope on libraries development, conference attendance, and national research, among others, to make tertiary institutions in Nigeria standard. This, the Executive Secretary of TEDFON, Abdullahi Bichi Bafa, says is as a result of the new initiatives in managing the fund and instilling the culture of accountability and prudency.
We have taken the anti-corruption drive of the Buhari administration as the #1 priority as far as our operations are concerned. And I must say that, yes, with the reason, our stakeholders, the assessment and judgment of our stakeholders is very clear for all to see. The culture of corruption, the culture of impunity is dead.
2016, they increased the per capita allocation to the polytechnics by more than 200%.
To bring a change is not an easy thing. You can see it at the federal level. At our institutional level, it's also the same thing. All those loopholes where people pilfer, you plug them, you step on toes.
It is such transparency and accountability championed by President Buhari that many say Nigeria need to achieve the greatness everyone believes it has.
It is work and work in all the institutions. This is an example of one of such projects allocated in 2016 and is currently at this level of completion. These are replicated in virtually all the institutions across the country, from Umuagwa in Imo State, Adoa de Mwalso, NTA News.
Against the backdrop of proliferation of small arms into Nigeria, which has reached an alarming situation, Wednesday's plenary at the House of Representatives has expressed the imperative for establishing the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Already, the bill for an act to establish the commission has passed second reading on the floor of the House. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the details.
The bill, co-sponsored by the Speaker Yakubu Dogara and Representative Nenna Okeje, drew passionate contributions from parliamentarians across board who were unanimous that there is need to regulate and prohibit small arms, ammunition and light weapons, pointing out that militancy, kidnappings, insurgency among other security breaches witnessed across the country are consequences of such proliferation.
The United Nations Center for Disarmament coordinator, Mr. Kumboigi, said that West Africa had about 500 million small arms and light weapons, and that of that number, 70% of those arms reside in Nigeria.
We have signed the treaty and have even domesticated that treaty that requires the creation of a commission.
The bill, therefore, seeks to, among other things, combat problems of arms proliferation in Nigeria. It was passed and referred to House Committee on National Security and Intelligence. A motion which came under issues of urgent public importance, sponsored by Representative Balarabe Salami, demanding provision of medical and economic support to patients suffering vesico-vaginal fistulae (VVF), was adopted. Also adopted was a motion by Representative Julius Pondi, which condemned alleged lukewarm approach of Shell Petroleum Development Company over recent oil spillage in Burutu local government of Delta State and called for assistance to communities affected. At the Committee of the Whole, 3 reports were considered, among which is a bill for an act to facilitate the development of the Nigeria capital market. The House, led by the Speaker, later played host to members of the Not Too Young to Run group who were at the National Assembly on a thank-you visit.
We did it not just to impress anyone, but know you fully well that it was the right thing to do.
This bill has been passed. We hope it's going to be assented to by the President.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Broader change. It's Nigeria. Nasarawa State Governor flags of cropping season as the rain set in. Join us for the details and more on his Extra tonight.
I see patients who come to me suffering from infectious diseases caused by germs, from typhoid to diarrhea, flu, cough. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily when we use the toilet, from our door handles from other surfaces with transfer to others without realizing. That is why we recommend Dettol Antiseptic Liquid. Protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol Sure.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
My teacher said germs attack and make tiny holes in the teeth. And they are more active at night. So you have to remember to brush your teeth at night. But Dad forgets to brush his teeth at night. He'll get cavities.
Pepsodent Cavity Fighter with double action and protection power helps prevent cavities during the day and at night works hard to repair tiny holes before becoming cavities. Pepsodent Cavity Fighter with double action for daily day and night cavity protection.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce. Let's go, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, working. That's right. Playing. Yeah. Here we go. Milk, chocolate, malt, prepared mix ready to drink. Hollandia Chocomo. Shap, nutritious drink every day. Drink it up. Oh yeah. Shap, nutritious drink. Yeah.
It's good to know that you're out here watching News Extra tonight. Now, the central bank offers more support to operators of bureau de change as Nigerian Stock Exchange ends Wednesday's trading session on a negative. Details and more with Musa Abubakar on Business News.
Good evening and welcome to Business News. I am Musa Abubakar. Fiscal Responsibility Commission, FRC, says more than 650 billion naira has been remitted as operating surplus into the Consolidated Revenue Fund, CRF, in the last 2 years. The acting chairman, Fiscal Responsibility Commission, Victor Moruoko, said it was part of the FRC's mandate to ensure that scheduled corporations under the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 remit 80% of their operating surplus into the CRF. The acting chairman noted that under the present administration, there had been a lot of improvement in payment of operating surpluses, adding that more corporations were added to the schedule in 2016. In other business development, Bureau de Change operators BDCs on Wednesday accessed foreign exchange to the tune of about $48 million from the Central Bank of Nigeria. About 80% of the more than 3,000 BDCs expectedly participated in the auction, where each operator accessed a total of $20,000 each on Monday. Equities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange continue losing streak Wednesday. The all-share index declined 1.08% to close at 38,606.41 basis points, while market capitalization ended the session at 13.9 trillion naira. A total of 342 million shares valued at 4.7 billion naira were traded in 5,057 deals. That's it on business segment of the news.
In Nasarawa State, the outlook for the 2018 cropping season may meet expectations as the government rolls out the sale of assorted fertilizers while assuring commitment to 4,000 farmers benefiting from the federal government's Anchor Borrowers Program. Joshua Ojito reports that farmers are set to consolidate on rice and other cash crops production more than the previous seasons to promote food security and income generation. Let's hear more from Joshua.
There is a common ground on the expectations of the government and the farming communities, which is to ensure a hitch-free season and a bumper harvest at the end. So, of the 4,000 farmers that will benefit from the Anchor Borrower Scheme, 3,000 are rice farmers, while 1,000 are into sesame seed production. The choice of these crops is in view of the rich arable soil in the state that is favorable to their cultivation and part of contribution by the state to federal government campaign of growing what it needs to fit as a nation. Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Mukura says the Anko Borrower Scheme will empower more farmers in the state to boost agriculture.
The feeders of the nation are not the large-scale farmers, but the small-scale farmers. And I feel any government worth its salt should give priority to these small-scale farmers, because they are the ones that are tilling the land day in, day out, and responsible for ensuring food security in our land.
On the sales of fertilizer to farmers this year, 150 trucks of assorted fertilizer have been procured to be sold at subsidized price of 4,000 naira to farmers. Government warns against diversion of the commodity, and sales will be in each local government area.
The land is green and the expectation of farmers, especially Emmanuel, is high. That with interventions by government, there is no doubt that Nasarawa State will witness bumper harvest this year. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Well, there's this saying that if you can't make the desirable available, make the available desirable. Another adage always advises us to make the best out of every bad situation. Now, this is exactly what the internally displaced persons from the Northeast are about to do in Taraba State. They are receiving support from the FADAMA, 3 additional financing to resettle and have some businesses going. So far, over 1,000 of the IDPs have received farm inputs to engage in agricultural production. Murtala Aminu Mutumbiu tells us more about this.
Over 1,000 internally displaced persons affected by insurgency in the Northeast have received rice and maize seed, fertilizer, sprayers, small farm tools, and agrochemicals to assist them engage in this year's rainy season in their host communities. The support provided by FADAMA 3 additional financing 2 is targeting 23 communities in Jalingo and Ardokola local government areas who will benefit from crop and livestock farming assistance. The National Monitoring and Evaluation Officer of the program, Mr. Mama Amshi, charged the beneficiaries to properly utilize the inputs given to them to improve their economy.
We have come here severally for permission. We have seen, we have visited places, and actually the people are joyous over it.
Taraba State Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Mr. David Ishaya Kasa, commended the program for the support, saying it will give the beneficiaries a sense of belonging. The Taraba State Project Coordinator, Mrs. Regina Festus, said the support will enable the families affected by insurgency to have enough food and start other businesses.
They should not sell it or keep it for another season. Yes, but they should farm with it and make sure they have a very good harvest so that they can plow back next year.
In Jalingo, Murtala Aminu Mutumbiu, NTA News.
Now, Nigeria is no doubt a vast country made up of different ethnic groups with different challenges, from desertification to gully erosion to seasonal issues like drought and flooding. For the Niger Delta region, especially Ogoni land, the biggest issue is land degradation occasioned by oil exploration activities. Now, for them, the Ogoni cleanup project is top on their priority list. Happily, the roadmap prescribed by the UNEP report is on course, with processes leading to the eventual remediation gradually winding down with great optimism. Onengie Fineface reports that while bidding is on to select competent contractors for the cleanup, technical assistants are being trained to facilitate the process when the boots hits the ground.
After the flag-off of the Ogoni cleanup exercise in June 2016 by President Muhammadu Buhari, the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, was revamped with a board of trustees, a governing council and project coordinating office to drive the process. In pursuit of its mandate, HYPREP immediately commenced stakeholders and community consultations to educate the people on the imperative of the cleanup and operational methodology to be adopted. To ensure effective implementation, interested companies were given opportunity to demonstrate their capacity before they can qualify to bid for the cleanup contracts.
I want to use the medium to appeal to my people to be a little bit patient, that action has begun, the cleanup will begin, and we are on. We are on.
In the interim, HYPREP, with support of the federal government, carried out free medical outreaches in Ogoni land as part of the UNEP report and as a means to gathering health impact data in the affected communities.
I already escaped the money because of what they told me from other hospitals. So I thank God so much, thank the government so much.
We're doing what they call delineation of impacted sites. So we are determining the length and the breadth as well as the depth of contamination for all the 26 sites we have advertised for remediation.
At present, HYPREP is training technical assistants that will monitor the cleanup process when it begins. These assistants will also support the companies that will eventually implement the Ogoni cleanup.
After 2 days of intensive classroom work, they are here today to put in practice what they were taught in the classroom. And of course, it will be in line with international best practice.
HYPREP says advertorials have also been made to get competent organizations to implement other phases of the cleanup portable programs, while boots are expected to hit the ground by the third quarter of this year, 2018. In Port Harcourt, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
Refugees Commission shows love to IDPs this Ramadan as Director General of the NTA gives recipe for ending substances abuse. For details of more interesting stories, you join us after these messages.
Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three put
You are welcome, sir.
as usual. Yeah. I was.
You take that one. You take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have. You don't have.
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobu to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just may have us.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
I think that for the first time in a long time in my experience, a news organization like the NTA goes out on its own to really go and find out what is going on in terms of development. All other organizations, including you, are always there when things don't work. But I think this is a departure from the past. This is, I think, what investigation and investigative journalism will be. And so I'm delighted to be here.
If you're just tuning in, this is News Extra on the network service of the NTA. Educating the nomads is one sure way of improving their lives and invariably their line of business. Who knows? An educated nomadic community will surely improve peace and peaceful coexistence. It's no wonder that the Niger State government has put in place necessary modalities to renovate all nomadic schools in the state so that all Fulani children of school age get an education. Rose Gia will tell us more about that.
Factor identified by the Fulani elders in Niger State has been responsible for the engagement of their youth in social vices and some criminal activities is lack of education, which has rendered them unskillful. This formal education was made available to the pastoralists in Nigeria, Fulani inclusive, with the establishment of the Nomadic Education Commission in 1989, essentially to provide functional and relevant education that will facilitate integrating nomads into national life and equipping them to make favorable contributions to the nation's socio-economic development. But 3 decades down the line, enrollment of pupils into the over 250 nomadic schools in Niger State has not been satisfactory, owing to factors ranging from inadequate funding, instructional materials and facilities, class absenteeism, low continuity prospect, cultural barrier to low political will. In a bid to improve on the enrollment drive and secure the future of the Fulani children, the Niger State government has expressed readiness to renovate the nomadic schools across the state, which informed the tour of the education facilities by the Director General Nomadic Affairs, Ardo Abdullahi Adamu Babayo. Tungamaku Nomadic Primary School in Paikoro local government area is one of such, where he expressed dismay over the teaching environment, with most pupils sitting on bare floor.
The purpose of this visit to all nomadic schools in Niger State is because they are now cooperating. We have peace and unity of the state. So we want to engage and make sure every child goes to school.
This development by the Niger State government is a welcome idea by some parents who express commitment to cooperating.
We are happy over this visit and will ensure that parents enroll their children in school.
The tour of the nomadic school facilities continues. Rose Gia, NT News.
The issue of substances abuse by youths has just hit the headlines in Nigeria, with the resultant ban slammed on codeine. The challenge now is to begin to find solutions to the problem that has eaten deep into the fabric of the society. That is exactly what the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, is doing at the annual Yusuf Jibo Ramadan lecture. He is tasking parents to prioritize the education and moral conduct of their children and wards so as to curb substance abuse and other vices. Ken Egbeluge was there and now reports.
Islamic scholars, and as usual on the front burner were critical issues that affect nation building. The Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, represented by the General Manager, NTA International, said the fight against drug abuse should begin within the families, as staying clean requires daily follow-up.
The DG wants Nigerian parents, not only Muslims, but entire Nigerian parents, to be up and doing, to support the federal government's ban on the sale of codeine, and to monitor what goes on with their children.
Other topics that impede the growth of the larger society, including gender-based violence and civic responsibilities, the Islamic perspectives, were tackled by scholars.
It is high time for everybody to wake up to its responsibility, from home to the society, from the society to the community, and then to the government.
The couple need to come together to make their marriages work with the contribution of their personal equity towards the success of the marriage.
Nigerians know what to do. Let's not deceive ourselves. We know what is right and what is wrong. There is a pothole. How much does it take to fill a pothole before it becomes a ditch? If you magnify that to other areas of our system, you discover that the problem is ours. It is the people, not just the government.
Attendance was overwhelming. The immediate family of late Yusuf Jibo, friends, and staff of NTA were present at the Ramadan lecture. Late Yusuf Jibo, who died in 2018, was the zonal director, NTA Lagos Network Center. Until his death, he was a role model to many broadcast journalists within and outside Nigeria. In Lagos, Ken Egbeluge, NTA News.
Well, there's no doubt the Ramadan season is here. It is a period of love, an extension of a hand of fellowship. The internally displaced persons in Durumi are smiling and rejoicing because of the food items they have received, courtesy of the National Commission for Refugees. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed brings to you thrills and happiness of the IDPs at the Durumi camp in Abuja.
These were the gloom faces of the occupants of the Durumi IDP camp as they await assistance from anywhere. This visit by National Commission for Refugees with a donation of foodstuff to give them a sense of belonging in the Ramadan was a welcome relief for the IDPs. Their reaction to the gesture says it all.
Also appreciating for the government of the Nigeria.
This is the Ramadan Kareem time. God touched her life to think about IDPs, that we are here.
The Federal Commissioner Sadia Umar interacted with the IDPs and commended some of them that have taken to handcrafts to earn some money.
It's a month of giving and sharing, so they should know that they are not left out, or they are not left behind, or they are not forgotten, and that's why we've come to bring these food items to them.
She says the Commission will visit other IDPs in the FCT to make similar donation of food items during this Ramadan season. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed, NTA News.
The basis for any enduring prosperity for a nation has been attributed to the prevalence of peace, which is a critical ingredient for breeding democratic culture. This issue came to the fore at a peace summit for interfaith residents of Abuja. At Ebola Brooklyn Sunday now reports.
From the two major religions, Christianity and Islam, participants were united in purpose as they deliberated on a nation built on virtues of national integration.
Nigeria is breaking away from these big names.
Questions were asked, contributions made on how to actualize their set goal for a greater Nigeria, free of corruption, secured with a strong economic base, which are evident in the present administration's drive.
Brief and short, straight to the point.
A book, Roadmap to Democracy and National Integration in Nigeria, was then presented to the public.
We must tend to put aside the divisive tendency amongst us and begin to look at the broad picture of the purpose of Nigeria.
The former national anthem used to say, Nigeria, we hail thee. All right? Yes, we hailed Nigeria. And let us continue to hail this country. It's the best place we have.
We are talking about congregation right now. We talk to people. We see how people are actually following us in terms of our operations, so that we can use our pulpits to preach peace.
We want to make it a yearly event so that all these issues of herdsmen, farmers clashes, Boko Haram, scourge, and all of the crises you have in the nation can come to an end.
The summit is in commemoration of the 2018 Democracy Day. At Ebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
When News Extra returns, a bit on the foreign scene and the weather forecast for Thursday. Stay with us.
I started with nothing but a vision. My father taught me that men who reach for the sky cannot be afraid to fall. I followed in his footsteps till the day those footsteps ran out. Then the world offered me other teachers. Each success became the seed of another, even greater success. And from these small beginnings, a great tree was born. Look at my rise. Learn from my lessons. You can follow in my footsteps without following my path. Go, be the hero.
Glad to have you back with us. And we now join Uche Mwizu for highlights of stories on the international scene.
Hello there.
Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa has announced 30th July as date for the country's general election, which he pledged will be free and fair with international monitors. The vote will be the first in more than 30 years without former longtime leader Robert Mugabe on the ballot. Mnangagwa became president in November 2017 after the ousting of Mugabe. Still on politics. Italy on Wednesday renewed attempt to form a government and end almost 3 months turmoil. The two anti-establishment parties, the Five Star Movement and League, had earlier abandoned plans to jointly take power due to President Sergio Mattarellas' blocking of their proposed cabinet lineup. Lawmakers in Rwanda have passed a new legislation on gun acquisition. The new law will allow individuals to apply for license and possess guns, and for traders to also sell same. French police have cleared an illegal refugee camp in Paris as part of government's efforts to deal with migrant influx, which the country has been facing since 2015. French Interior Minister Gerard Collomb said in a statement that the migrants were being moved out of the camp for general welfare and security reasons. That does it from here. I am Uche Mwezu.
The death has occurred of Chief Harry Musumola Osha of Yagba East, local government area of Kogi. Chief Harry Musumola passed away on the 3rd of April this year. Burial arrangement as announced by the family indicate that there will be a wake this Friday, 1st June, at his residence, Ayo Balogun, New Layout, Makutu Isolu, Yagba East, Kogi State. Pa Harry Musumola will be buried on Saturday, June the 2nd, at 8 o'clock in the morning at the same venue. Let's now take a quick look at the weather prospects for tomorrow, Thursday.
Hello. It's nice to bring you the weather forecast for Thursday. As we approach the peak of the rainy season, we expect more intense weather activities in the next coming days over parts of the country, with increased momentum, of course. But for the Thursday forecast, we expect most of the weather in the morning to be much concentrated towards the western part of the country, a part of the northwest, areas around Guso, Sokoto, and Yewa having morning thunderstorms. While parts of Abuja, Bida, Mina, and environment will also see some early morning thunderstorms, with the inclusion of areas around the coastal places where we expect a mixed bag of thunderstorms and rain in the morning hours. Elsewhere, towards the east, we expect some calm. And as we approach the afternoon, we look forward to the shift of weather activities to the eastern corner of Maiduguri, Gombe, Bauchi axis, and part of the inland of the southeast, which is also the high ground of the central state, with the inclusion of parts of Kaduna and Jos axis. Could also see some isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon to the evening hours, while the western areas recuperate from the earlier activities in the morning. And that's what we'll leave you for this forecast. Do join us for more updates in the coming hours. I'm Olubade Damola, and thank you for watching.
Well, coming up immediately after News Extra is a special documentary expanding the frontiers of knowledge. All NTA stations are advised to stay on the network service. And that's how it has been on the program this evening. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again. Same time, same station, next week. Until then, on behalf of everyone out here, I thank you for joining us, and I wish you a pleasant night rest. Have a good night.
talking about balanced diet now, we're talking about healthy living, and we're talking about complex carbohydrates.